my name is Sarita.
And my name is Rena.
We are both past patients with Mexico Bariatric Center, and we are here to break the stigma of having weight loss surgery in Tijuana, Mexico. We will be covering all things bariatric to help you get the most out of this weight loss journey.
Hi, friends.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Can You Stomach This? So, Sarita, what are we talking about today?
We have a special guest today. We have a patient named Sarah, who also is my daughter.
Yeah.
And she actually had surgery 6 weeks ago today. So very fresh.
Very fresh. And so, what is Sarah doing here? Sarah's going to tell us about her journey. So y'all hear about our journeys all the time. And let's talk about somebody else's experience for once, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Sarah, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I am 38 years old. I live in South Carolina. I am an administrative assistant for a major hospital up there in South Carolina. And I had surgery 6 weeks ago and never thought I would have surgery, to be honest, but here I am and going to tell you about my journey.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So I think it's a really neat thing that I want to kind of go back a little bit to Sarita's story because it kind of goes back there just a little. So Sarita actually snuck off to TJ and told no one.
Almost 7 years ago.
Yep, and told literally no one.
Told no one.
And not even her daughter.
Nope.
So, and she didn't even tell her daughter when she come home, right?
Nope.
So you want to tell us, like, how did you find out your mom had surgery?
Well, I mean, I could tell she, was losing weight and everything, and I knew something was up. Like, I just didn't understand why she couldn't tell, like, her family, like my brother and me and stuff like that. And I went into her room one day because I had to get something in there. And there was a folder that was sitting out, and I saw that there was papers in it, and I was like, "What is in there?"
Nosy daughter.
I'm very inquisitive by nature.
And I think I didn't want to tell because at some point I was told that was the easy way out, and it's definitely not easy, as she will attest
I may
to.
have said that at one point in my life, I will admit maybe, but I don't remember saying that. But regardless, I saw there were some papers in there, and it was like consultation stuff or looking into like plastic surgery stuff, and in there she had said that she had weight loss surgery however many years ago, and I was like, that's the answer. Now we have it. Like, I didn't understand why she couldn't tell us that, but it's all good. It's out in the open now.
Yes. And so at the time, were you also struggling with weight loss?
Always. I've always been struggling with my weight loss. I was born and grew up in California, and then when I moved to the South, to Georgia, totally different everything. And they have a love of deep fried food down here, and in California, not so much. And so I loved all the food.
Packed on the pound.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And I remember like my freshman year of college, that was the last time I was under 200 pounds. I was like 199. It was ridiculous. And it just kept creeping up, and I have tried doing Weight Watchers numerous times because she would go with me.
Yep, I tried it numerous times too, and
it works. It does. But I would always lose like 20 pounds, and then I would gain it back. Somehow something would happen.
To a certain
point,
it
would. And then finally this last time I lost about 40 pounds, and then something tragic happened in the family, and I coped with that by eating my feelings, and I gained about 7 pounds back. And I just was like, okay, enough's enough. Like, I need to do something about it. I'm not getting any younger. I wanted to prevent myself from getting diabetes and high blood pressure and high cholesterol and having a knee replacement or hip replacement. And I figured, I have the means and opportunity to do it. Might as well do it now.
And you're still young.
38.
You're still young.
I'm almost 40. I'm almost there.
Okay. Get it under control, right? And so you didn't really like the idea of surgery, like that just wasn't.
Because I saw what she did, and I was like, I don't know if I could eat the same thing over and over every single time. I don't know if I can do that 30-minute rule. Like, I'm used to drinking and eating at the same time. Like, I was like, but I really love food. Like, I love me some Taco Bell late at night, let me tell you. I love me some buffets, you know what I mean? They just don't love me. And I was just like, I don't know if I could conform to all that, follow all the rules, and could I give up things? So, yeah.
Okay. And so you knew your mom had weight loss surgery. You learned of that, right? But you didn't know where.
No.
You didn't know where.
Mm-mm.
And so how did that come about? Like, how did you find out that she had surgery in Mexico?
I think it was when she started working for NBC, and
almost 5 years ago, I started working for them.
And I would ask her, she would tell me, like, oh, I have to take this call with the patient, or I have to do this, do that. And then I started asking her questions like, oh, what are you actually doing with these people? Like, how are you helping them? And things like that. And that's when she began to explain everything about NBC.
Okay. And so that's how you learned about
Yeah.
it.
Planting a seed is what I call it. Planting a seed.
Planting a seed. And then, what ultimately, so you kind of already touched on this a little bit, but how did you really decide to have surgery? Like you mentioned, you wanted to get control of things, you knew you needed to lose weight. And so how did you just know surgery was what you needed to do?
Just because I knew I wasn't able to do it, I guess, on my own through Weight Watchers. I mean, like I said, Weight Watchers worked great for me, but I knew that whatever was happening in my life, like, I would just go up and down, and I was tired of being on that roller coaster. Like, I wanted to get off that ride. And one of my friends had told me, oh, our mutual friend, Laura, had surgery. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, she's my age, and let me reach out to her and see how her experience was. And she answered all my questions. She told me everything about it, and that really, I think, also helped. And I remember one time I was sitting down with my mom. We were eating brunch, and I just point blank asked her. I said, what would you feel about me having surgery? And she just kind of set her fork down, and we just had a frank conversation about it. And I said, I really think I want to do it. And she said, if you do, have Rena be your coordinator and she'll help you. And I said, okay. And that really just kind of started the process of it.
Yeah. Rena and I were her support system from the very beginning. And I never wanted to push it on her. I wanted her to...
She had mentioned it a couple times and
She
suggested
talked about it a lot.
Oh, I did.
She did talk about it a
I
lot.
did. I never pushed it. I just let her
She
come to me.
wanted me to be healthy. I'm her child. She wants me to be healthy. She doesn't want me to have to go through anything that other people my age or younger are going through.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, you have to be mentally prepared. It took you going through the trial and errors to get to that point, right?
Yeah, and I think, her grandfather, my father, passed away this year. And, that was our family tragedy.
Yeah.
And
it was an eye-opener. He wasn't in the best of health, and I just didn't want to be like that. And I know so many people my age or younger, my friends, that are all this medication. I'm very lucky I'm not on any medication.
I'm not either.
And I wanted to prevent that. So, yeah. And I knew if I were to have surgery in the States, I probably wouldn't be accepted because I don't have any of the comorbidities. I don't have sleep apnea. I don't have diabetes, high blood pressure, any of this.
Your BMI wasn't over 40.
No, it was.
Oh.
At my highest weight.
Oh, it's your highest.
My highest weight in January of 2019, I was 293 pounds.
Okay.
That was my highest weight, and that was a big wake-up call because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm almost 300 pounds. I'm only 5'4".
Okay, that's right. No comorbidity.
Yeah, I had that was my only big one. It was like 49 point something. It was almost 50.
Okay.
And then when I started Weight Watchers in September of last year, I was 286, I think, was my weight. And then I did the pre-op diet. And,
let's talk about
pre-op diet.
So you decided to have surgery. We got you booked for surgery. You chose your surgeon. Got on the calendar, and then pre-op. So how far before surgery did you book your surgery? It was a couple of months, right?
Yeah.
At least 2 months,
Yeah. I think it was probably in June, maybe. I think is when I really, really took hold and wanted to do everything. So based on my BMI, I only needed to do pre-op for 2 weeks. I went ahead and did it for 7 weeks, 5 extra weeks total.
From the time you booked,
yes,
right up to surgery.
And people that knew about it were like, "Why would you do that? Eat all the food you want up until 2 weeks. You have to."
A food funeral, like some patients.
Food funerals. I don't advise that. I did that, and it was terrible. And what it got me was a lot of upset stomach and weight gain before
Okay.
surgery.
Yeah, and I didn't want to gain more weight. Like, I was in a point where in my life where I wanted to lose weight. So why would I want to like go crazy and eat all this food for the next 5 weeks up until? And I thought it would be helpful to me to be motivated and to keep myself accountable, and also help with recovery. I thought, the smaller my liver is, that's why you're on the pre-op diet.
Well,
the better, it could be.
I think it helps build healthy habits for after, and then starting that 30-minute rule.
Did you start
it's a
practicing
habit.
that?
I mean, once you
I will admit, I did not really start the 30-minute rule as much as I should
Never
have.
mind.
I will admit.
But she does it now.
Yes, I do.
Did you try it?
I tried it like a couple times when I was at work at my desk, but I forgot sometimes.
30-minute thing. So what is it? Let's talk about for people you don't know what the 30-minute rule is. It is you don't eat or drink 30 minutes before. You don't drink 30 minutes before or after eating. And so
you don't drink during while you're eating as well.
So you wait.
You
wait 30 minutes before you eat, then you wait 30 minutes to drink after. And so it's the 30-minute rule. And we learn to drink from birth. I mean, like, not birth, but like
the moment
you're handed a plate of food, you're also handed a sippy cup, right?
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to break that habit because you
from birth.
Not
got
birth,
it.
but like toddler.
Okay,
right?
You have a cup in one hand and a fork in the other.
Yeah, you get put in your high chair and you get a plate and a sippy cup always, And so it is a hard habit to break. All right. So you worked on that 30-minute rule, but let's talk about or you maybe tried.
I tried.
You thought about working on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about what else did you do prior to surgery? Like, did you?
Well, I was very active. I was walking a lot at the river walks. I went kayaking a few times. I went hiking and just a lot of walking.
I feel like every weekend you were out in nature.
Oh, I was doing something, yeah.
And it's in the South, y'all, it's hot. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So,
it is.
I'm over here watching her, posting her adventures. And I'm like dying of a heat stroke.
Just by looking at it.
Listen, I love getting out and doing things too, but like dead July and August.
Yeah, 100 degrees going hiking. I'm like, nope.
And we had some of the hottest weather this year too. So I was really like, I don't know. I don't know if I was envious.
I went camping. I was going to the lake. I was swimming.
No camping in 100-degree weather.
I would walk around with my group of coworkers around my building, and we would just go and we walked across the street, go to a lake, and come back, and that was really hot. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but you did it.
I was out there doing it.
You were doing it, and I think that's a really good thing. And then you also had. Support systems. Your mom, she took off and didn't tell nobody anything. But now, in all honesty, she did have support because with your therapy and stuff, right?
Yeah, so. I was in therapy before, during, and after surgery, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of changes that you go through, and it's good to have, a therapist to help you through that. A lot of changes that you go through.
Yeah, and so you didn't have therapy, right?
No.
You had a good support system.
Very much good support system. So besides you two, I also had a very, very close-knit family of coworkers, basically, who were my friends, and we'd tell each other pretty much everything, and they knew I was going to be gone, and they knew that I was going to need their help at work if I couldn't lift something heavy or do this or do that. And I told them, and one of my coworkers actually did have surgery. She had weight loss surgery about 7 years prior. And she was telling me all about it, and I've seen pictures of her, and so I told them, and most of them were very, very supportive. And one girl, one woman just looked at me, she was like, why do you need it? She didn't think I needed it. And so I explained to her, I don't want to be a medication. I don't want to have this. I don't want to have that in the future. And she came around to it. She was very supportive. But yeah, no, I had very good support system through there. And then my brother knows, and my stepdad knows, and my other best friend knows, and yeah,
It's a
nothing
select group of people.
very, very small. My bubble. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's good to have that
Mhm.
bubble. Now,
Yeah.
people ask me all the time, or they worry about telling people
Mhm.
because they're going to Mexico.
Yeah.
Do you ever have that fear of like what people would say about you going to Mexico?
Yes.
Did you encounter that?
As a joke, my friends and I were talking. We had started talking about surgery, and one of the directors came by, and so we jokingly were talking about surgery. Oh, we're going to go to Mexico City, or not Mexico City. We're going to go to Mexico and have plastic surgery. And the look on her face, she was like, "No, I would never do that." And I was like, "Oh, I am not saying anything to her about having surgery in Mexico."
Yeah.
So yeah, little things like that.
Lots of judgment.
Yeah, people think, "Oh, Mexico, bad," and
But the thing about Mexico,
It's such a stigma.
it is a stigma, and it's like you have surgery in the States, and that's not all they do. There, that's all they do, medical tourism.
yeah.
And they're pros. That's all they do every day, all day.
Yeah, it is.
And it's cheaper.
They specialize in it, and you know what? There are a lot of places in the United States that do some really botched surgery. So
Yeah.
it's about making sure you're choosing a good surgeon. It's not about the location of the.
And you recommended my doctor, Dr. Sejas, because you said if any of my children were going to have surgery, this is the one I would pick.
True
If I
story.
did not, trust Mexico Bariatric Center, I would never send my child there.
Yeah, why would you?
Why
right?
would I?
And I had surgery with Dr. Valenzuela. And of
That's who
course
I wanted.
Yes, but you're like
she was
only
on
time
vacation.
frame it didn't work.
She
So
was on vacation.
and it's true. I tell people almost every day, and I'm not trying to sell a surgeon.
Yeah.
I honestly would send my child to Dr. Seha if they needed surgery.
Yeah.
He was
So,
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I meant that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't
No
send-
complaints.
honestly, all of our surgeons are great. Let me just
Yeah.
be really
Yeah.
honest. All of them are great.
He just happened to be available that
Needed.
time frame that
Yeah.
she was able to get off work, and it worked out perfect.
Yep. And so let's talk about getting there. Talking about going to Mexico, so let's talk about getting there. What was it like getting there? Like, what were some things that that you felt were important in traveling? Like what?
I will say, doing the TSA pre-check, me and her both
We
did it. Simple process. It's almost like $80. It's good for 5 years. You go to your designated area. They take your fingerprints, take your picture. You fill out the information. Within a few days, you get your known traveler ID, and it was very easy to just go on through the line when you get there.
It was amazing.
So I will say that.
I highly recommend it. I
Yes.
highly recommend paying the $78
Yeah.
for that, and even if you never travel again, that put you right at the front
Yeah.
of the line for this procedure.
And my mom was also gracious to ask for wheelchair assistance as well.
On the way, well, I asked for it on the way
Yeah.
back. I knew on the way it'd be okay.
Yeah, because I could still be mobile and
You were
walk.
very active.
Yeah.
Very active
Yeah.
before you went. So
Mhm.
that was good for you. But then, so coming back, wheelchair assistance is
Yes,
important.
a must.
And you know, I want to say too, for people who are overweight and they're scared of airports, do the wheelchair assistance going too. Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason why you can't.
That's what it's there for.
And the people that work at the airport, they know where they're going, so they
Right.
get you right there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we were also traveling out of the busiest airport, which is Atlanta.
Yes.
It's the busiest airport in the U.S., and if we did not have that assistance, we possibly could have missed our flight because
Yes. Because you have to get on a train to get to
Yeah.
the terminal, and
yeah,
You
it's just
know.
easier when someone's just flying you down the
Yeah.
concourse trying to get to where you need to go.
yes.
And they already know what they're doing.
Yes.
And
They-
people get out of their way.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, they do.
So in packing your things, what would you say was important for you with packing?
So with the packing, I looked at a lot of TikTok videos, and I also looked in the support group, and people were telling you like, oh, do this, do that, do that. So I kind of took some of those guidelines, and I will say I brought like my sound machine because I sleep with it all the time. Made sure I had plenty of chapstick because that will be your friend after surgery.
Yes.
And I also brought like my Chromebook and my Switch, and I use them maybe for a few minutes because all you're doing is sleeping and walking. So
You're
I would
busy.
pack those.
You're either resting or you're busy.
Yeah.
I do hear a lot of people tell me that they're worried about being bored at the hospital, or they're
You're
worried about
no.
Yeah, and
No.
so
No boredom.
and we'll talk more about the
Yeah.
hospital experience in a minute. But okay, and so do you think? So you say you overpacked?
I would say I overpacked to that extent. But then when I went to the hospital, something happened, and I underpacked with that.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I underpacked. So can I talk about that now then, or
If you want, just it's
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
So after surgery, I had a reaction to the anesthesia. I've only had one surgery previous 4 years ago, and that was when I had my gallbladder removed. And I had it here in the States. I was fine, didn't have any complications, but when I had surgery in Mexico, I guess I had a reaction to the anesthesia, and I ended up throwing up a few times. And you are on a IV, you're having fluid in you all the time, and
Lots of fluid.
yes, lots of
Lots.
fluid,
Continuous.
and accidents happen. That's what I will say.
Yeah.
And I was underprepared because I didn't bring enough, enough
Undergarments.
shorts and pants and pajama bottoms and underwear and things like that. So I will say, if you may have a reaction, rather pack more than not enough, like me. That's all.
So I also want to add that for travel, make sure that you book your flight arriving before noon, because you need to have time for the driver to pick you up and other patients, get you over the border, get checked into your hotel, get to pre-op. And also, we stayed an extra day in San Diego after surgery because we couldn't find a flight after 2 p.m. And I highly recommend that as well.
As a patient, I will say, right after surgery, I remember we were in the hotel room, and my mom was like, "Can you imagine if we had to be on a plane right now?" And I was like, "Gosh, no! No! I'm so glad I had that time to just rest, relax, and just
take a nice shower and sleep in and
Chill.
just chill.
Yeah.
Sleep in the bed and have a pillow and
just be
Nice.
rested and relaxed,
Yeah, it was-
basically
and-
before. So I would recommend either stay 1 or 2 days if you can, but definitely. We didn't want to be rushing to get through the border and possibly miss our flight either. And you're in pain and I would recommend a day.
So now
Let's go ahead.
talk about arriving in Tijuana. We're on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
We get off the plane and we are meeting our driver.
Yep. We call them. They say, "Oh, we're going to come pick you up in this amount of minutes," and they show up, and you get in the van, and
But her driver texted her or contacted her 2 days before. She's supposed to be picked up. He sent a text. He sent a photo of himself. He called. Email too, right?
I don't think you showed a picture.
No, he did.
He did?
He texted a picture. Yeah, Willie. Not Willie Ricardo.
I don't remember that, but okay.
Some of the drivers do send a picture
Okay,
of themselves.
I just don't remember
They'll send a
then.
picture of themselves in their vehicle, and
Right.
I know Willie does, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Willie. This is my car.
Okay.
I'll be
Maybe
picking you up at whatever time."
I might have been really nervous, so maybe I don't
That's
remember.
okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
So what were you feeling like when you got to TJ and you're waiting on the driver? What were you thinking?
I was just like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening. Like, everything
Yeah.
has culminated into this one experience. And I was like, oh my gosh, this time tomorrow, like, my life is going to be totally different. It's, it just boggles my mind still.
So you're in the car with the
Yeah.
driver, and you're like, "Have you ever been to Mexico before?"
Yes, on a cruise. Very much different than this.
So never
So
driven.
you never drove across the border.
Never,
So what were you
ever.
feeling when you were driving?
I was just
in
like
the car?
looking around and trying to take it all in. And I'm just like, wow, this is very different from the US. I was just like,
much.
I wasn't second guessing my decision to do it, but I was
Yeah.
just like, wow, like I'm thankful that, we don't live here, I guess. Like, we don't have to deal with that.
It's a lot in a small
yeah.
space.
Well,
It is.
I mean, when you're crossing the borders, a lot of people going back and forth,
Mhm.
and it's like we don't have to deal with that.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yep. So you get to your driver.
Mhm.
You've met your driver. Your driver drives you into Tijuana, and then you go to the hotel.
Yep. Mhm.
And then when you get to the hotel, what happens there?
So they have a booth or a table set up in the corner. They introduce themselves.
With Mike.
very, very nice people. And they say, okay, we're going to get you, situated. We've got paperwork for you to fill out. We have broth and jello for you. And then you see other people that were also there, like filling out their stuff. And I was like looking at them like, oh, these people are going to have surgery on the same day as me. Like, this is something we're going to, have to remember for the rest of our lives. And you just feel like a kindred spirit type thing. Yeah, you connect.
And you connect through the Facebook group. So we knew everyone having surgery that day. And like there they were in person.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you just fill out all the paperwork, and they do have broth. And I personally did not like the broth. She liked it.
I always say, and on the packing list it says to bring broth packets with you, and I added my own broth packets to the broth at the hotel.
Okay.
Because I didn't like the.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. Yeah, so basically what I was eating this whole time for the 2-day pre-op diet was sugar-free popsicles and water and jello, basically. That was it. But their jello, it was a pineapple flavored jello. Chef's kiss, I'm telling you. It was so good.
Love it.
It was good.
Awesome. And so you hang out at the hotel for a little while, right? And kind of maybe get to know some of the people from...
Yeah, and so then we got to bring our stuff up to the room, and we came down, then you kind of all huddle, and then you start talking to all the people, and you ask them, what surgery are you having? So there was people that was having the sleeve, there were people that were having revisions. So yeah, you really get to kind of know more about them, and how long ago they had surgery, if they were having a revision, and so yeah, they've been through it before, and you can ask them questions and ask them things that maybe you hadn't thought of, or they say something that you didn't know about.
Yeah, and so you had your mom, you had a companion, but if you'd have made that trip by yourself, would you have felt alone?
Maybe in the beginning I would have, but once you start talking to the people and you are in the, in the lobby there waiting, I mean, you start to get familiar with people and you're like, oh, this isn't so bad, Right. Like these people are doing exactly what I'm doing and they're fine. I can be fine.
And I think, again, being part of the Facebook group, like you put in like, hey, I'm having surgery this day. Who else? And then there's people there, and even if you're going alone, and these people are going alone, you form a bond, and you get to talk before surgery, and it's really amazing.
Your surgery siblings. I'm still friends with my surgery siblings from 5 years ago.
Oh, see, there you go. I'm friends with most of the girls that had surgery with me, and we'd walk the halls together, and we still keep in touch.
Yeah. Okay, so now it's time to go to the hospital, right? You're gonna go over and. What do you do at that point? Like, how do you get there? What do you do when you get there?
So they load us up in a van to take us over there. We took 2 of them, I believe, 2 vans over there, and everyone was sitting there talking, and we're just trying to explore what Tijuana has to offer, and we're watching all the food places go by. I remember right around the corner there was a picture of Little Caesars and a nice juicy piece of pizza, and we were just like, oh my gosh, can we have that? Like, that's what we wanted. Excuse me. But yes, we were looking at all the food places, and there's a Buffalo Wild Wings and things like that. But so we all were in the van, and we got to the facility, and we met the wonderful Carla.
Yeah, Carla's great, right?
Yes, she is an absolute trip. Love her.
Best.
Yes.
Yep. So what was pre-op at the hospital like?
Basically just going over everything. All of your information, and we also had to have what was that? EKG done. Thank you, EKG, and which was like it was 5 minutes. You just put electrodes on you, and you lay down to do that, and then they weigh you, and you just have to wait for everyone basically to be done. And Carla goes over. Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about the blood work. See, it's all like that was simple and easy though. They just put the needle in, take it out. You're good.
Our advice to people going for pre-op: drink a lot of fluids before pre-op, because if you are dehydrated, it makes it more difficult to find a vein.
Yes.
And I told her that. I said, drink lots of fluid, no problem finding a vein.
On 2-day clear liquid diet, a lot of people tend to slack off on drinking water, and you're traveling and you don't want to have to go to the bathroom a lot.
Right.
But it's so important to drink water, because you got to get a vein to get blood work, and then you got to get a vein to get your IV in. And so if you're dehydrated, it makes it so hard to do that.
And Carla gave us juice and Gatorade, I think too. Yeah. So that was kind of nice. And
and we had to. I didn't even get this when I was there. Why am I saying that?
The gelato?
You have to talk about the gelato man.
I will talk about the gelato. So we actually asked Carla, hey, is the gelato man here? She physically called him, asked him to come down so we could get some gelato. We went down and they had what was it, lime?
Yeah, mine was lime.
Lime, it was a lime gelato. It was amazing. You get the big size because they had a small size and a bigger size.
Big size is $5. Small is $3.
Yeah,
Go for
get
the big size.
Yep.
I only had the $3 option.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't even have.
We didn't even go down. Like Carla went down, and but it was. We were also more into COVID. The last time that I was there, so I think it was more like keep the patients in the hospital.
True. That does make sense.
Yeah. So we didn't get to go outside and meet the gelato man. We just got to sit there and wait. Yep. We gave Carla our money and she come back with it.
Carla was just translating. Carla speaks both English and Spanish, so we would tell. Yes, very. So we would tell her like, oh, we want this size or this size or this flavor because there's other flavors, but we can only have the lime one. Right. She got to have a strawberry cheesecake kind or something. I was so jealous. Wow. It was something like that. It looked really good.
Oh, the lime was so good though.
It was. You want that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely if you are gonna go, definitely see if you can get the gelato. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, just ask Carla.
Yeah, ask Carla. She's amazing.
A miracle worker at TJ, right?
So let's move on to surgery day experience.
Yeah.
How did it all start in the morning at the hotel?
I showered because I knew that was probably going to be the last one I was going to have for a couple days. She kept asking me, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Like, what are you feeling?
Well, I was going to ask you the same thing.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling that morning?
I was excited, but I was also a little anxious and nervous. I wasn't scared by any means because it wasn't my first surgery that I was having, but I was like, oh my gosh, in just a couple hours, like, everything's going to change. Like, I'm going to have a whole new life, But yeah, I was anxious and I was first. I will tell you, I had one of the first surgeries of the morning, and I think that was really nice just to go ahead and get it over with.
Well, yeah, and she had her surgery on the weekend, and it's not as busy as during the week.
Yeah, there's not as many surgeons.
And there was a couple of those surgeons that were on vacation anyway.
Yeah.
So it really worked out. There's I think 10 people on your day. Only 10 people have surgery.
Yeah,
because again, they were on vacation. So yeah, that worked out really well.
That's great.
Yeah.
I had my surgery first too, both of them. Well, first, my gastric sleeve with Dr. V was first because I was very overweight, so higher risk people go first. And our surgeries are always in the morning.
Always
in
the morning.
Yep. So I went first. So I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Because my second surgery, Dr. Rodriguez, goes a little later in the afternoon. And I was his first patient because of the procedure that I had. But I had to wait like so long.
Nope. That would make me more nervous, I think.
I felt like I was in my surgery attire forever waiting. And it might not have been that long, but it just really felt like forever. So first thing in the morning got to be great. So so you were just ready, right?
Yeah.
Just ready. And
I was
then,
like, let's go, let's do it.
What is prep like? Like when you get to the hospital, like what happens there?
So you're brought to your room, put your, suitcase or your bag up and everything, and they give you some compression socks. They did not work on me, so I thankfully brought my own. So I went on Amazon. I got like the extra large, like wide calf ones. They worked a lot better than the hospital ones.
The one size fits all does not fit all.
Does not always fit all.
I say that all the time. Like people ask me, do I need to bring compression socks? Well, you don't have to. They have them, but I do recommend that you bring your own. Because that surgery grade ones, they're about as good as getting through surgery if they even work for you, right? So I hear you. Yeah. And then all right, so you're prepped for surgery. You've got your IV going.
Got my IV in. You've have my hair in my little net. My doctor came to see me. We got a picture together and everything, and he basically just kind of went over a brief thing like, oh, we're going to take you in during this time, and we're going to do it. It should take about this long, and things like that. Just general trying to keep you at ease before you go into surgery.
Yeah. And so, also you got to talk to anesthesiologists, right? They come and talk to you.
Yep, they did. Yeah.
And then here you go, like you get in the wheelchair and
Rolling.
you head down, rolling out, right? Were you
I was like,
nervous?
I was getting a little bit nervous, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. Like, there's no turning back. Like, it is happening.
Not when you're rolling forward.
Yeah. So,
you can't roll back.
No,
rolling
I mean, you
back.
could try, but it's not going to happen. But I was
Right.
just like, oh my gosh, it's actually happening. And like you walk into, I can't remember if I walked or if they rolled me in, but I remember getting up on the bed and I had to like shimmy over to the actual operating table or something like that. And everyone was around you and they're saying, okay, we're going to start, they tell you what medicine they're going to give you. They say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And they said, okay, we're going to give you the stuff to like knock you out, the anesthesia. And I don't know if I remember counting or not, but I remember just laying there and nothing was happening. And I'm like, okay, when is it going to hit in? And then all of a sudden my eyes started feeling very heavy. And then I eventually just closed them. And that's the last thing I remember.
I remember everybody's voices around me just because everybody's talking. They're all busy doing
Sometimes
stuff.
they have music too.
Yeah, sometimes they do have
no.
music. Some of the surgeons do have music playing in the operating room. But I do remember just all of them talking. And they are speaking Spanish because, you know, that's what they're doing. And they're just prepping everything and getting everything ready. And I just remember completely just fading out voices. And then next thing I know, it was like, hey,
wake up.
I don't remember them saying to wake up, but I remember opening my eyes and like looking around, and I remember looking over, and there was another one of my surgery siblings there.
You're in the recovery room together.
Yep.
So Carla let me know that everything went well.
Yeah.
I don't know if I contacted her or she contacted me, but she let me know that everything went well. She was in recovery to wait a few hours before I could, contact her. So that was good. Carla's very good about that.
She is, and I'm glad you brought that up. So it is important for, even if you don't have a companion with you, so if you have a companion, Carla is going to contact your companion when you wake up from surgery and say, hey, she's out of surgery, she's done well, give her a couple hours to get, coherent, and then she'll be in touch with you.
And if you travel solo, she will call your
Emergency contact.
Yeah, whoever you designate. So, she'll get in contact with them. And Carla is always available.
Yeah, she is. Your person doesn't have to reach out to her. She will reach out to them.
She's very good about that. And she has an assistant, Oscar. So, Oscar's awesome. So she does have help. I mean, she's
a very busy lady, but
she is very busy. I don't know how she has enough hours in the day to do everything that she does.
I don't either.
Yeah.
With such
enthusiasm.
Yes. I was gonna say grace, but
that too. Grace and enthusiasm.
Grace and enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that day, like once you did actually wake up, what was that day? Was it just kind of chill the rest of the day?
For the most part, like I remember waking up and then having to move over into the bed and just laying down, and I desperately was wanting something to drink, I will tell you that, and all you could have is ice chips, and those things were like heaven, getting those ice chips.
Anesthesia makes your mouth so dry.
Yeah.
Your lips dry, your mouth dry.
Chapstick and those, I'm telling you, chapstick and those ice chips work wonders.
Chapstick and ice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I was basically like just kind of sleeping. I think you came to see me for a little bit, but I just remember sleeping a lot, and then they rolled in my roommate after she had her surgery. And so then you just kind of get to talk about everything and how much pain you're in, or if you're in, the gas pains, and you feel all that. But I will say, after I had gotten sick and everything, the nurses were on top of my anti-nausea meds as well as pain meds. They were coming in all throughout the day and night, making sure that you were taken care of.
Did you really have a lot of gas pain? Like I had it in my left shoulder, like overnight it was gone.
I did. When I had my gallbladder surgery and when I had this surgery, I had never had any gas pain, but I did feel the gas pains like down in my stomach.
I mean, my shoulder was
did not hurt
at all. I was like, what is going on?
It's so funny that you say that, because my first surgery, I had no gas pain whatsoever. And so I'm walking around, I call it pole pushing. Like I'm pole pushing all over this hospital, and I'll explain pole pushing right in a minute.
Yeah.
But I'm pole pushing all over this hospital, and everybody is like, "Oh, my shoulder," and I'm thinking,
That's me.
What is wrong with these people? Like,
yeah.
You just had your stomach operated on. Why does your shoulder hurt?
I couldn't understand what
I didn't
going
understand
on.
what was wrong with everybody. And I had taken gas strips. Those existed back then.
I took some.
And so I felt like the gas strip dealer because everybody's like, can I buy some of those from you? Because they didn't have them. And I didn't need them. So I didn't sell them. But I was like, sure, you can have some.
I got some from another sibling.
Yes, I felt like the gas strip dealer for real. And then anyway... But it took 3 years and another surgery because my next surgery, I felt that. It wasn't like horrible. And a heating pad definitely helped. But
bring a heating pad.
Yes.
Yeah, bring a heating pad.
Heating pad.
And then, so let's get to that. So you've had surgery. Now is your second day at the hospital. It's your third day with us there at NBC. And then now you're on recovery day. So pole pushing. And pole pushing means...
Very key.
Not dancing on a pole, but... pushing a pole.
The IV pole.
Yes.
So you're still hooked up to the IV.
Yes.
The IV's hanging from a bag, and the bag is on a pole that's got wheels. And so I call it pole pushing because you look down the hall and there's not 10, but probably 5 people.
You'll pass other people that are doing the same thing you're doing.
Yeah. So I call it that. I just think it's silly. But anyway, what else did you do on recovery day?
Slept a lot. Like you want to make sure you get your sleep. You want to make sure that you are walking a lot because that will help you try and get that gas out. I will say that. And also you get to visit with your companion for 1 hour a day from 6 to 7.
6 p.m. to 7 p.m.
currently.
in the second floor lobby only. You're not allowed to go to patient rooms.
Nope.
We are hoping to change that soon, but
we are.
That is the current policy.
We are. And if you are a companion, should we talk about Uber?
We can talk about Uber.
Let's talk about
ready to go.
Okay.
So you tell us more about your recovery day, like things that you did. You did a leak test, right?
I did the leak test. Oh, that stuff was so nasty that you have to drink. But someone in the support group said if you get a Listerine strip, place it under your tongue right before, and then take that leak test. I will say that up until then, you're told to take very small sips of whatever you're going to be on. So for you to actually drink something and gulp it down.
Shot it.
It was more than a shot, I'm telling you. It was like this cup.
I remember. It was gross.
You have to gulp it down, and that was kind of just felt weird because you're not used to that after not having a stomach, really.
Yeah.
But I'm used to just sipping, but no, you have to gulp that down, and it was nasty. But taking a Listerine strip right afterwards, that helped me. Some of the girls that were there, they asked for one, and some said, "Oh no, it was fine. It might just be their taste buds," but it helped me.
So when you went for the leak test, because I tend to tell people, this is what it reminded me of. I'm like, you'll go down to the Wonka Vision room and you'll drink the yucky stuff, and then all of a sudden you're like 1,000 little pixels in the sky. No, just kidding. But it is like being in a Wonka Vision room. Would you think it looked like
you're
that?
there with 2 people. They have the screen there, and you can see it going down.
And swirling around.
It's
in your
weird. Yeah, it's kind of weird to see that.
Yeah, I thought it looked like a Wonka. Like,
was
you
so
know
long
the
ago.
scene on Willy Wonka of the Wonka Vision? I just thought it looked like that with the camera pointed at your belly.
Yeah.
I just thought it was
odd.
And so after the leak test, is that when you got your drain removed?
I believe so. Went up, and she was so happy at first when she saw my my incisions and everything. She's like, "You don't have a drain. Oh my gosh, you don't have a drain." She was so excited.
I was wrong.
I had a very small drain.
Yeah, some patients had big drains, and she had a very
I had a small one, and maybe that was because I did the pre-op diet. My liver was so shrunk. I don't know. But when they take it out, it's like a weird popping sensation, but it's over and done with real quick, and you're like, ooh,
that was the weirdest part.
Yeah.
A lot of people said that they feel more comfortable once it comes out.
Yeah.
It's just
That's that long tube in you, and they pull it out, and it's like, oh.
And then when they take it out, you're like, that was in me? Like, you just are, what?
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah.
So that's good. And then after leak test, drain removal, then you're sipping your liquids.
Before, oh my gosh, you're so thirsty. You want everything inside site, but then they come in and they give you a little bottle of water, they give you an apple juice, and they give you a Gatorade, and they want you to drink all 3 of them. It was a challenge just to get the 8 ounces of water. I didn't even drink the apple juice. I gave it to my roommate, Kristen. And after I drank the 8 ounces, I was like, oh my gosh, you're expected to drink at least 48 to 64 ounces. I can barely drink 8 ounces. How am I going to get all of this in?
And you were an avid drinker before
very much.
surgery, so you never thought that
I would have a hard time.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's different, right?
Yes. So I will say probably that the first couple days, I probably maybe didn't get all my liquids in, but eventually, yes. I will say probably when I got back home, I started getting my liquids in.
Really well, with her fluids. She was meeting her goal, almost from day one. Well, not day one, day 3 maybe.
Yeah.
And it was no issues at all. It was amazing.
You mentioned having a roommate.
Yes.
So tell me about that. Would you rather had your own room?
I thought I wanted to be honest. I remember telling you, I think, or maybe it was you, I was like, if I can get my own room, that would be great, because I sleep with the sound machine, and people sometimes don't like sound machines, and I just want to be by myself. No. So I have my roommate, Kristen, and we got to sit there and talk, because she had a revision, and so we really did get to sit there and talk, and my mom would come in, and my mom would help her, if she couldn't lift something heavy, or, something like that. But it was really nice to have a freaking roommate, and because you get to be with someone that you are doing this with, and your experiences may not always be the same, but it's just great to have someone to talk to.
Through it with someone else.
It's that
camaraderie.
surgery sibling thing,
Yes,
that
it
connection, that and a lot of people tell me, can I get my own room? I want my own room, and you think you just want to be alone, but really you don't.
I think that you're lonely in your own room because you're away from everyone, and you can hear what's going on and see them walk past, and it looks like they're having a relatively good time.
Yeah.
And you miss that. So I got to go as a companion this time.
Yeah, tell us about that.
I was super thrilled to go back as a companion. The hotel was absolutely beautiful. I can't even say enough about it. The breakfast buffet was amazing.
So jealous.
It is amazing.
Every morning it was this huge buffet of Mexican food,
It's like Shoney's. Remember Shoney's breakfast?
Yes.
But
I love
it's
Shoney's,
Mexican version.
Oh my gosh.
Upgraded.
Yeah, it was amazing. That was amazing. And, they took such good care of me as a companion.
So while she's having surgery, what were you doing? What were companions doing? Tell us all about that.
So actually the night before surgery, all of us met at a restaurant a block away, and we all had broth together. So we got to meet.
The Last Supper.
We had the Last Supper, we had, they had broth, and then as a companion, I had tacos. I have never had so many tacos in my entire life.
With your tiny tummy.
My favorite food, and here she is eating it in front of us.
So some of the things that I got to do was I did get to go on an excursion. Now they don't plan them every day, but I was fortunate enough to be able to go on an excursion.
Yeah, they do those when time permits.
When time permits, right. It depends on the patient load too, because we only had 10. So there's,
it's a relatively small group.
Yeah, so the day that we got there, they went to the beach and had lunch, and then when I was there, we went to go souvenir shopping. We went out to lunch. We had ice cream. Took a little tour.
Nice.
Yeah, so more tacos.
So the NBC drivers do that.
Yeah, the NBC drivers do that, and they don't charge you for it, but I tipped them very well because it's their time, and
they're doing that on their own time.
They're doing it on their own time, so it was very much worth it. And they take you to a certain place to go shop for souvenirs, and they have a lot of selection.
Would you say that when she goes, go back to day one, when you get there, she's not eating all day, and you're probably trying to be respectful of that.
I'm starving
in the airport, the travel.
Yes.
And so she heads off to the hospital to do pre-op. Would you say that that's a perfect time for companions to go eat?
I would say that is the perfect time to
Find
go
some
eat.
food.
Like, we had been flying all day from South Carolina, so I actually did find some food.
She looks at me.
And I kind of felt guilty because
Oh my gosh.
here I am eating,
Yep.
and she can't. And I'm like, is it okay? She's like, yes. So
Can't say no. I mean,
I know, I hear you.
But that night when we all met up, the companions and the patients, they had broth, we had tacos. I kind of felt bad, but you know,
I
get it. When I was a companion, I felt bad too.
I will admit though, this was funny when we were in, because this is when I'm on the 2-day, liquid diet.
Yep.
Whatever she had to eat on the plane or in the restaurant, I would get and I would sniff it. I
she
would
would
smell it.
Yeah, she sniffed everything.
Everything. I sniffed everything.
Yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
can I just sniff it?
Can I
And I'm
smell
like,
it?
there you go.
Like the Biscoff cookies, and I don't even like them on the plane, but I was like smelling them. It was so funny.
As a companion, I remember trying so hard not to eat, and thankfully I did have a tiny tummy. I had sleeve surgery myself,
Yeah.
right? So I didn't need to eat a lot.
I mean, it sounds like I ate a lot, but not really, because
You brought back leftovers in the hotel.
Oh my gosh, I had so
It was a
many
lot for
leftovers.
you. It was a
Yeah,
lot.
like, I could probably eat a half a taco and I'm good.
Yeah.
Because I still have restriction. But yeah, I just felt like, guilty. But you know what? It was amazing.
But then she would say, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want those tacos so bad. And she'd be like, well, maybe you can come back and be a companion for someone, and then it's your turn to eat.
That's what I did. And then so the person that I went with as a companion, then they again went with me when I went back for my next surgery. So because I actually said, hey, I'm going to go have this revision surgery. And they were like, well, when are we going? I was like, you don't need to go. Because at that time, companions couldn't go to the hospital at all.
Right.
And I was like, you don't need to go because you can't go to the hospital with me anyway. There's like no point. They're going to take good care of me. They're like, I know they're going to take good care of you. I'm going to eat tacos.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
I'm going to go visit and eat tacos. So they were serious about
So
that.
if there's anyone out there and you need a companion like me, I will go with you.
I'll go with you. I'll be the second companion. I will take care of you.
They just want to eat
Good,
tacos.
yeah.
Yeah,
They
we
just
want
want
to go back.
There's
to
nothing
tacos.
wrong with that. Thank you very much.
There's not. I did it
The
too.
tacos there are way different from the U.S.
They are different.
Yeah.
And so let's go on into, so how did you, some people always ask me as a coordinator, I get the question all the time, how does my companion get to the hospital? So how did your companion get to the hospital?
Okay.
As a companion, how do you get to the
Okay,
hospital?
as a companion, so Uber, right? So the one of our trips over, we had 7 people, and they don't have Uber XL. They only have Uber that seats 4 people. So I'd call 2 Ubers. However, it's like 10 minutes. It's like under $5 for a one-way Uber. So if we have 4 people going, that's like what, $1 something each. But I did tip the drivers, like $5, and they were,
Appreciative.
very appreciative of that. But yeah, Uber, or they can call a cab for you in the lobby, Mike.
The hotel coordinator.
The hotel
helps you,
coordinator, yeah, they'll help you with that. And no issue. I mean, Uber was great. It was amazing.
Yep, and you're going with you can go with other people.
Yeah,
so it works out.
I met a bunch of people in the lobby, and I'm like, we all knew who we were.
Yeah.
So we're like, hey, do you want to go? You want to do an Uber with us? And yeah, it worked out really well.
And we talked about how you connect with your surgery siblings, but the companions really relate to each other as well.
Yeah, because like we would hang out together. We did the excursion. Just hanging out in the lobby, or I went to Starbucks, and there's a little grocery store next door.
Yeah, because there was a mom there as a companion, a sister there as a companion, and I know a husband, 2 husbands, I think.
There were several, yeah.
Yeah.
So
It sounds like recovery day was great for both of you, right? Would you say so?
except I couldn't eat tacos.
Except you couldn't eat tacos, right? And
yeah.
all right, so we're at your 4th day now. So what happens on discharge day for you? What was that like?
Carla again.
Yay, Carla.
She goes over everything with a fine-tooth comb, and you get your folder, and it has everything that you need in there, and it's got a copy of your leak test in there. It's got a copy of some of your blood work, and it's got copies of your EKG and everything.
And your discharge
instructions.
And your surgical report should be in there as well.
report.
And then there's a a paper on there that tells you about the medications, and she gives you a bag, and it's going to have some chapstick in it, it's going to have a shirt in there, and it's going to have some medications in there.
Yeah, not everybody gets the same medication or the same instructions, so just be aware of that. Not everyone's the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can't give everybody the same.
No, some people have allergies, you know, things like that.
But she will tell you to use your, spirometer. You take that home with you. She will ask you, does everyone have what you need? And when you say yes, she pointed out that is a lie because someone left their spirometer in their room.
And I want to talk about the spirometer. The spirometer needs to be used.
Stop. What is a spirometer?
Okay, spirometer is this thing you breathe through. I don't even know if I have mine, but the balls go up.
There you go.
Your goal is to get the balls up, and this helps so you don't have any issues with your lungs after. Like some people get pneumonia.
Like I have asthma, and you don't want anything to happen with that.
So 10 times every hour.
Yep.
I ask patients this all the time. Are you using your spirometer? No. I said start using it right now.
And the increased oxygen, so you suck in, right, and it makes the balls go up, and you try to get the balls to a certain level,
all the way up at the top. Yeah. So during recovery, I was doing that every single day. By the way,
very important.
Yes.
And all that increased oxygen also helps blood flow, and it's going to help with healing your body.
Exactly.
All of those things are for healing your body, and so. You have your discharge. Don't lose your blue folder, by the way.
Do not. No.
We can't always get you another copy of what's inside there.
No.
Like the hospital does not retain that for a long period of time, and if you lose it, and that's one of the things that are different. Like I think in the U.S. we hold records a little longer. They don't hold them like that.
And they're more paper records instead of electronic.
Right.
So
so don't lose that. Keep up with it. So did you have any extra charges, by the way, medicine or anything?
I did. I thought they were actually my roommate's charges because she had like an allergic reaction to something. So I go into the room and she sits down and tells me I have like a $17 charge, which wasn't bad, but what it was for, I was like, no, this isn't for me. This isn't mine. This is my roommate's. And it turned out, no, it was for me because they did give me like an antihistamine. It was during surgery. I wouldn't have known because obviously I'm under anesthesia and in surgery. But it was like $17. It wasn't bad at all. But I was surprised to like when they called my name. I was like, what? I have extra charges? You know?
I mean, I think mine was 20. It was something to help me sleep or something. It was very
I don't
minimal.
remember what my extra charges were the first time because I just don't remember. But I know that it wasn't more than $50 because when the first time I had surgery, I was on a budget, and if it had been more than $50, like I would have remembered that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The second time I do know, because I actually looked at my receipt not too long ago, and it was $23 for the medicine. But I had a hiatal hernia, so I did have that $75
Oh, I didn't know you had a hernia. Okay.
Yeah, the second time I did. I didn't have one the first.
One of my siblings' sisters, when she went in, they discovered she had a hernia and she didn't know about it.
Most patients don't know.
So that was an extra charge for her, unfortunately.
They have no symptom.
Yeah. If you have one and a hiatal hernia, we're not talking navel hernia,
No.
or abdominal wall hernia. We're talking about hiatal hernia. If you have one, they will repair it. Because,
They have to repair.
Yeah, it'll be detrimental to you if they don't. So you've got your discharge instructions, you got your medication, you've settled up your extra charges, and not all people have them.
Yeah.
But some people do. On average, it's $20 to $50. And then what's next?
Well, she makes sure that you have everything you need. Make sure that you've got your compression stockings on. Like you have to show her, like you lift up your legs to show her, yes, you have your compression stockings on. Why is she?
Because it's funny.
It is funny, but
she's very thorough.
She's very thorough.
Yeah. So
she cares.
I will say if you're going to be if you're going to have them on, just get some slides. You can slip into them easy and walk. Don't wear flip-flops or anything like that. Just wear some slides. I will say I should have brought a dress to wear because I feel like that was probably the most comfortable and easiest thing to wear. The day that we stayed in San Diego, we went to Target and we got a couple dresses.
And they were perfect for flying.
Perfect for what I needed. But anyways, so she just wants to make sure you have everything, and she will explain going to the pharmacy is what the big thing is. After that, she will explain going to the pharmacy. People are asking, oh, what do I need? What do I need? And she will tell you what you need for acid reflux. She will tell you what you need if antibiotics give you a yeast infection. Sometimes that does happen for women. She'll tell you what you need for that. And if you have anything else that you need help with, Carla will tell you and give you the name of the prescription that you
and
need.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Mhm.
And you don't have to remember it. It's on a piece of paper, right?
Yeah, and you can write it down too, and you can give it to the people at the pharmacy, and they'll see it and they know what to get.
And yeah, I actually went to the pharmacy with Carla, just me and Carla, and those pharmacies are so clean and well run. These people are on top of it.
And you know what? People don't realize, because like here we have like a few pharmacies, but in Tijuana there's a pharmacy on every corner.
Oh yeah,
it's like convenience stores.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's probably more pharmacies than convenience stores.
We just walked up.
Like
More than Dollar Generals.
Yeah, you
More
just
than Dollar
walk
General.
up and
Dollar
there's
Generals are everywhere.
just a line of people waiting to help you, and it's like
And
seamless.
some of them down, like I remember when we went and walked around the market area, there's like a big open front that like roll up doors, so it's like a whole open front, and there's a guy standing out there like trying to peddle medicine to people, you know, like, hey, come in here, we got you, like we got your meds right here, we can get you your medicine. So it's really neat, and medicine there is cheap. And last time I did my research, do not quote me, do your own research, but you can take across the border a 3-month supply for yourself. So you don't have to have a prescription. No, not narcotics. You can't do narcotics.
No. Nothing controlled.
Nothing controlled. But, you know, if you need diabetes medicine, or if you need, I don't know, your blood pressure medicine, and you pay a lot out of pocket for it.
Yes.
Extra antibiotics.
We got extra antibiotics.
We did.
I did too. And so you can always grab some extra things and take them back with you if it's cheaper for you.
It's way cheaper.
And like Latisse, if you want that.
Yeah.
We got her some Latisse.
Yeah. I haven't used it yet, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean,
And
it was cheap.
And then paracetamol. I tell everybody, get the extra paracetamol.
Oh, yeah. I do have some of that.
I got it this time. I didn't
haven't
get
taken
it
it
last time, and I have taken it. It's amazing.
Listen, it's Tylenol, only it works.
It works very well.
The Tylenol, if I left here and ran down to the store and bought Tylenol, it would do nothing for me, but paracetamol works the way Tylenol should.
Right.
So anyway,
Yeah.
Let's talk about crossing the border.
Oh.
Yeah, so, well, let's go back a little bit.
Okay.
You've left the hospital, our driver's taking you by the pharmacy. That was a smooth process. And then you go pick up your companions, right? And
they'll ask you, like, when is your flight, so they know when to get a driver, because, you know, we don't know how long it's going to take to get over there, and they want to make sure you get to your flight in time.
Well, yeah.
But again, we stayed a day extra.
Yeah, so we weren't in a hurry.
No.
We were on the last van because
We had the time.
Our flight was the next day.
Yeah.
And so that worked out really well.
And some people whose flights are late in the evening, they always say, are they going to take me first thing in the morning? No, not necessarily.
It depends.
But there's so many moving parts, like we can't say yes or no.
No, because they have to take patients to the airport leaving, and then they're picking up patients who are flying in. That is why arriving before noon and leaving after 2 are so important. They are so important because there's a lot of moving parts.
Well, and then things can happen like what happened to you guys. So if you had booked a flight, so it also depends on how busy is the border today,
right?
Because if the border is really busy and they're going to try to leave a little earlier, well, you might get to the border and it might like open up, and so then it does get you through a little faster. But you guys sat at the border for a little while, and that's uncommon to sit at the border as long as you did. But
we were the last van.
Yeah,
so
it was definitely a few hours. I will say it was very interesting being in those lines, because there are vendors trying to sell things, and they are walking up and down. And I saw crickets. Someone was selling crickets. To eat, because that is a staple.
Crickets.
Yeah, that is a staple down there in Mexican cuisine. No, they were selling like chips and waters, and they were selling churros, and they were selling all this food. I can't eat any.
Lots of souvenirs.
Lots of souvenirs. And then, of course, as soon as she saw the tortillas,
I bought tortillas.
She bought tortillas. She asked the driver. The driver, you know, speaks great English and everything, and he was able to translate.
Was our driver.
Yes. And he got himself a Mexican Coke, and oh my God, I wish I could have had one, because those were the best. And then got her some tortillas, and then we finally, you know, get up to the border crossing, and we have to give our stuff to one guy first, and then we got to the actual person that we have to give our stuff to, and
so I had a passport. Sarah
did not.
She had her ID, birth certificate. You know, she had that, and that was fine. We got through. And
they didn't ask for because I think on the website you have to, you guys ask to bring like a utility bill or something like that.
I think it says that, but they don't ever ask.
They don't.
I think it depends on whose line you get in.
Yeah.
Some are,
That's true.
Yeah.
Some are easier than others.
I brought one just in case because I'd rather be more prepared than
Yeah.
underprepared. But yeah, the woman just asked me, where I lived, where I was born, and I told her, and I said, "Do you need to see my birth certificate? Because I am Hispanic. I do look Hispanic." And so I gave her my birth certificate. She looked at it, and away we went. She gave it back, and away we went.
It's pretty
So
easy.
yeah, and he dropped us off at the
Hotel,
Hampton Inn Liberty Station.
very nice hotel.
Beautiful, right on
Yes,
the water.
yes.
We had a beautiful hotel.
And our patients get a discount there unless it is a blackout date
Oh,
for
okay.
them.
Yeah.
But, so for the most part, you should be able to get a discount there if you're our patient.
Okay.
But they do have blackout dates.
Yeah, we used the corporate link, and it was decent for San Diego, the price.
And they have a shuttle there that will take you to the airport, which is what we wanted as
and
well.
that's why we booked
Yeah.
it. They took us to the airport.
And our driver doesn't charge anything extra to drop off at that hotel.
No.
If you stay at any other hotel, they could potentially. Some of the drivers won't charge you extra if it's an airport hotel,
Right.
but some of them will, and that is at their discretion. That is not up to us. That is up to the
Right.
driver.
It's up to them.
Their agreement with us is not to charge you to drop off at Hampton Inn.
Right.
If it's literally next door to Hampton Inn, it is up to the driver whether or not they charge you.
Right.
So we do recommend that, and most of them don't, but they could. And if they do, it's like $5 or $10. It's not like crazy.
But I highly recommend staying an extra
Mhm.
day
Yes.
in San Diego if possible, just to decompress from everything you've been through in the last
And
few days.
you're going to be in pain. You're going to still have the gas. And I just could not imagine going through a busy airport like Atlanta Airport or even the San Diego Airport and being in a chair or being in a seat for hours on end. It just, no.
Yeah,
Not right
and
after.
everybody's different because the last time I had surgery, we stayed in San Diego for a couple of days
Yeah.
and actually walked around.
Mhm.
And
We
went to
walked
all the
around.
We did.
places.
We did.
Yeah, we walked around.
But the first time I had surgery, I went early thinking that I would want to visit because I'd never
Oh.
been to the West Coast, so I was
Oh,
going to go
yeah.
early and hang out.
No.
But then what happened was my stomach was just wonky from clear
Oh.
liquids, and I
Oh.
didn't enjoy myself. So I said, the next time, which I was a companion, and as a companion, the patient didn't want to stay, so we did travel right
really?
back
Oh, no.
through Atlanta Airport,
Nope.
everything,
So
and it was fine.
It
But
was kind of strange being there without a car.
yeah,
So,
We used Uber.
so our coordinator Megan met me and brought me some In-N-Out.
I was so jealous because born and raised in the West Coast, we love In and Out.
Like, we love it.
And Megan, the coordinator, she was like, because they work together and they've never met, and so she came and we were talking, and she was hungry and I couldn't eat
I was
anything,
starving.
she
obviously.
had sat at the border for a very long time.
Yeah.
She had a tortilla, and that was probably about
That
it.
was it, yeah.
But no, she's like, well, what are you guys gonna do? Are you hungry? And I'm like, well, she wants In and Out probably. And Megan's like, I'll get you In and Out. And she's like, will you really?
Yeah, she was
I smelled that. I grabbed it and I
You should have
smelled
made
it.
her. You should have told her to go eat. Not
I know.
Yeah.
It
leave
was,
me for a
it
few
was
minutes.
incredibly nice of her
Very
to get me
nice.
some In-N-Out. And
Oh.
yeah, so, yeah.
I can't wait till I can have it in and Out again. But oh my gosh, I just remember grabbing it, like, I smell it and like took a picture and everything.
Yeah,
So what she just said was, she invited you to invite her as
Yes,
your companion.
I will go
but
with
just
you. I'm
know
great.
She's going to eat In and Out.
Yes.
and you can smell her food.
Yes.
So,
But I will say though, after the surgery, even though like there's food, I was not hungry for
Right.
it. Like I
Right.
just could smell it,
Right.
and I knew what it tasted like, but picking it up and physically putting it in my mouth and eating it, no. That was not in me at
and
all.
that's something that a lot of people say is, it's going to be really hard to only drink liquids and stuff after surgery. And I'm
Nope.
like, no, because you're not going to feel
Yeah.
hungry.
You don't.
And you're going to
Mhm.
get full really fast on those liquids. So
I think it's a mental
Excuse
thing too. It's like a head hunger,
Mhm.
but you're not really hungry, but you think you are, and
Mhm.
there's no way you could have any food. You can
Right.
smell it.
Yeah,
That's it.
right.
that's it.
Well, we have our internal clocks too. So our
We do.
internal clocks say it's breakfast time. If you eat every day at the same time, your
Sure.
internal clock is going to say you should be eating right
Yeah.
now, right? Even if you're not feeling hungry. So it's kind of weird, but so recovery at home. Wheelchair assistance.
Yes,
That's
let's
important
talk
to you.
about that. The wheelchair assistance. When we went to San Diego, I stood outside because, again, I could barely walk. Like, you're in pain. She goes in, asks about the wheelchair.
Yeah, so we met this man outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of randomly walked up to him and I said, hey, we requested wheelchair assistance. Where do we go? And he's like, I got you.
Did he have us.
He got us a wheelchair.
Put me in it.
And he got us to the front of the line.
We bypassed
everyone.
And I kept telling you, make sure you tip him really well. I'm like, he deserves like 20 or something.
Yeah, this man, and he got everything through TSA, got us through
Nothing
TSA.
was opened, all my stuff, because I brought back the electrolyte waters and everything. None of my stuff was open. They just like did a quick little test. Yeah. But I just kept telling him, like, hey, I just had surgery, you know, I need this stuff, you know, for the plane ride. But he moved us past. He opened up those little what are those things? The
barriers.
Yeah, the barriers. He was popping those open, putting us through.
Pushing us through, yeah. It was amazing.
Great.
And he got us right to the gate.
Yep.
And it was amazing.
Yeah, and we just thanked him profusely, and then we got to where we needed to go and just sat there, and then we noticed there was someone else that had surgery there. I'm like, she had surgery. She looks just like me. She's moving slow. She's wearing the compression socks.
So I did go up and talk to her, and they were from...
It was pretty funny.
They were from a competitor. But it was just funny how you noticed it.
I just automatically knew. I was like, oh, she's walking slow just like me.
And I tell people all the time with the San Diego airport, they're used to it.
Yeah, sure.
You got bariatric surgery, you've got cosmetics, dental.
Mm-hmm.
People go to TJ for so many reasons.
I met a lot of people at our hotel that were there for stem cell.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've heard that too.
And I didn't know that was a thing, but it is a big thing there too.
And apparently people go there. I didn't know this, but if people go for dialysis, I guess you would need to live like in
kind of locally, yeah.
That's awesome.
Maybe like around San Diego for that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
And I have a friend that lives there in San Diego, and she never goes to the doctor in the United States. She goes across the border for everything.
Nice.
She gets a cold, she goes across the border. Like nothing.
So we changed planes in Atlanta, and I had another amazing wheelchair experience. This man was not going to let us miss our plane.
She was literally, I've never seen her run before.
I was running through.
But she was running. She was hightailing it because we got stuck in a holding pattern because of the weather.
Yes.
And we were scared we were going to miss our plane to go from Atlanta to Columbia, to South Carolina.
We were coming into a hurricane, right? Weather?
Yeah. What was that hurricane's name? I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember.
But it was the weekend of August 26th, that weekend. And yeah, he was like, not on my watch. You are not going to miss this plane.
So I'm running through the airport with two suitcases and a backpack. Yeah, and a purse.
And
she's just flying.
Yeah, she's trying to catch up. The only other time I've seen her run is when we did a 5K together, and that was it. But other than that, she was on it.
We tipped him well too.
Yes, making sure we did not miss our flight.
Yeah. So we got back to South Carolina. On the airplane, highly recommend an aisle seat so you can get up and walk.
Which is what I did. Carla will tell you at the discharge, when you're wearing your compression socks, she says, get up, go walk during the aisle, go into the bathroom, and like lift up your legs. And I did that. I did that a few times. I got up to do that, and people probably looked at me like I was crazy because I kept getting up and walking. But you know, I'm not going to see these people again. Who's for my health?
When you're on the aisle, you control the aisle. I mean, you control the row.
Yeah.
So
she wishes.
You control the row and the aisle. Because you're on the aisle. But anyway, it worked out really well.
Yeah, I say that all the time too. I'm like, if you have a long flight, go to the bathroom and just stand there and watch
that's what I did. Just kept lifting my legs.
Once an hour at least, right?
We are so proud of Sarah, her success, and her willingness to share her experience with us. Drop a comment and share your experience with us too. We would love to hear more about your journey. This concludes part 1 of Sarah's experience at Mexico Bariatric Center in Tijuana. Tune in for part 2 as we talk about what life was like for Sarah once she returned home. Bye, friends. See you next time. If you have any questions or want to share your bariatric weight loss journey, you can call or text us at 480-999-4826 or send an email to podcast@mexicobariatriccenter.com. You can also follow Mexico Bariatric Center on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Keep in mind, these are the opinions of the host. The views represented do not reflect or define the values of Mexico Bariatric Center This podcast is sponsored by Emerge Bariatrics and Mexico Bariatric Center. Please visit MexicoBariatricCenter.com for more information.